It's the best of bias. You need the earful, you should try us. From pop culture to the movies to Unitas. It's the best of bias. Your best of bias. Yeah, it's the best of bias.
You are now listening to the Best of Bias Podcast with Lydell Dinero and Hugo Twilight.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Lydell Dinero. It's time for another episode of the Best of Bias Podcast. It's yours truly, coming at you live from the stew. And it's time for another episode that I'm bringing to you. Man, I can't start it off not knowing how to talk. But yeah, what's up, everybody? Hope everybody's doing good today. Hope everybody's in good spirits, in good mental state, good mental health. Hope everybody's having a good Thursday. Wait, what day is it today? Tuesday? Wednesday? Good Wednesday. I'm recording this on a Wednesday. If you're hearing this, it's a Friday. So hoping you're having a good Friday, man. Because you made it through the week. You're listening to this now, bright and early. If you haven't gone to work yet, you're almost there. A couple more hours and you'll be ready, to enjoy your weekend, a 4-day weekend. Is it a 3-day weekend? 3-day weekend, because 4th of July is on Monday. So you guys get to, kick your feet back, enjoy family, enjoy some fireworks. And you know what I'm saying? Hope you guys got some cool plans. You know what I'm saying? Somebody throwing something on the grill. However you enjoy or decide to celebrate or not celebrate 4th of July. Whatever you're doing this weekend with the extra day off of work, enjoy it and enjoy your family. But today, I got some pop culture topics for you guys like I always do. A mixture of sports and some popular stuff. I'm going rapid fire here and there. You know how I do when it's just me, because without guests, I kind of don't want to spend too time delving on. If I'm saying that word wrong, you guys are going to kill me in the podcast anyway, but it's whatever. But I'm not going to spend too much time on one certain topic because I tend to rant sometimes. And when I rant, I can spend longer on a topic than I want to. But I do got a lot here. There's a lot been happening this last week. And by the time you hear it on Friday, a lot of people probably already talked about it. But the best bias comes from this podcast. The best information comes from this podcast. So I know you've been waiting to hear what I thought about it. So let's get right to it without further ado. Starting with Deshaun Watson, man. I feel like we talk about Deshaun Watson every week, but this time we got a little bit of clarity to what's going to happen during this NFL season. The NFL has decided to indefinitely suspend Deshaun Watson for this next coming season until, we said last week, there's still 4 cases that haven't settled. So there's a lot of research that still needs to go into these cases. So until they got that all sorted out, I think they're going to make Deshaun Watson just sit down for a little bit and they'll reconvene on what they should do as far as letting him play again the year after that. Or whatnot. And I think that's the right call, because there's no way the NFL is going to get it right and the court of public opinion is going to be happy unless they do their due diligence and are able to either settle these last 4 cases, or these last 4 cases are taken to court and go through the whole justice system to see if there's truly any criminal acts taking place here. Or I don't know if it could be criminal anymore because, the court said it wasn't any criminal acts, but we'll see how this goes down as more evidence comes out and as more time comes out and comes around, because I know fantasy football season is around the corner and people are going to want to know if they should draft Deshaun Watson, stash him on the bench or whatnot. But real life right now, this is tending to be a lot more serious than we thought on surface level. We talked about that last week a little bit, but to see him now being suspended indefinitely, it does, and because there's an arbitrator now, it's not directly coming from Roger Goodell. He's not the the hand of God, if you will, when it comes to the NFL and the punishment a player gets for some stuff that he did that's against the league rules. So there's an arbitrator there, and, the NFLPA and the arbitrator, I don't think they've come to a unanimous agreement on what they should do as far as the suspension goes. So right now, I think the indefinite suspension is going to have to suffice for now, and they're going to reconvene next year as far as I am aware. But I'm sure after this year is up, they'll just say that's time served and they'll let him play. But throughout that year, he is going to be, put through that scrutiny of court, and we're going to see what happens with the last 4 cases. And these last four ladies, more power to you if you believe, or if something did happen and you don't want to just settle and brush it under the rug and stand up for yourself and do what you think is right for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Don't settle. But, if these cases tend to be not true and you're just kind of like, holding a grudge against the man, hold him out for a football season, and that's kind of messed up too. But that's why it's kind of all just kind of going to have to be held up to the court system, because if not, then we are just going to be all just there in a court of public opinion, just saying what should be and what should not be. And nobody's actually going to be happy with the end result of what happens, because if he was to do these things criminally, who's to say he only deserves to be suspended a year? He should probably be suspended longer than that. But prayers out to everybody involved, to the ladies, to Deshaun Watson as well. If he, didn't do it, then these trials and tribulations of going through this the last couple of years have to be hard on anyone. And for the ladies, it definitely has to be hard on them as well. And the courage it takes for them to do this in a court, right in the center of media, and to put themselves out there, especially at the height of this Johnny Depp thing. I'll get into Johnny Depp a little bit, and Amber Heard, people not believing Amber Heard and what she has done. I know it's probably hard for them to come out and try to plead their case and for, win in a court of public opinion against these people who just kind of like, saw what happened with the Amber Heard case. Not saying anything like this is related, but you know what I'm saying, kind of. I'm not trying to, some dogs barking out there. I don't know who the hell that was. But yeah, let's stay in the courts, man, because Brittany Griner, man, she's still incarcerated. She's been in jail in Russia since February 17th. She was arrested with cartridges of THC. I guess they arrested her in Russia and claiming that she had intent to distribute and sell, smuggling marijuana out and into Russia. She played professionally over there simultaneously as she played basketball for the WNBA. So I think she played there in the off season and kind of traveled out there to play. And as she was coming back, she had those cartridges. We know the story by now because we've been talking about it a lot. We're big supporters on this podcast of Brittany Griner, trying to get her, bring attention to her case, because, people are saying it's kind of being swept under the rug due to her not being as big of a star as some of these other notable U.S. people that, it could have been, and if this situation was the same, that it would have gotten way more notoriety. But back to the update here. Her first court date is set for July 1st, and she is facing up to 10 years in jail for this case. And the Russians aren't budging on this at all. They think that what she has, those cartridges, highly illegal in Russia, and she should have known the rules and this and that. Not saying that I believe that, but that's what they're trying to say in Russia. It doesn't seem like they're budging at all. Because if you think about it, what's going to be her case in jail for it, or in court for it? It's going to be like, oh, I didn't know it was legal, or it was illegal here. It's legal in America. So why wouldn't it be, you can't really fight it like that. So there's going to have to be some kind of negotiation, and hopefully she can get out, with probation or some kind of, I don't know how that works coming out of Russia, but man, for her to be there for what we say last time was like 125 days this far, so far, that should be time served. But like I said, we never know how harshly they see THC and those kind of cartridges there. So who am I to say, time is not, the length of time is stupid or whatever, just because in America weed is legal. But it's wild to think that somebody could just be sitting in jail when our laws are so loose about it. You can see how in the media you can see how it's kind of crazy to see she's still in jail. But hindsight is 50-50. And from the Russians' view, this is a highly illegal drug. But I don't know. It just seems really political. We're giving a bunch of money to the Ukraine, and they're in a war with Russia right now. And people are trying to say it's a political pawn that Russia is trying to use to, get the U.S. to bend to their will. They're saying they'll give Brittany Griner back in exchange for a weapons dealer that we have, that's a Russian's weapon dealer we have in jail, or some crazy shit like that. I don't think that's going to happen. So hopefully everything goes well in court and we can get her back and out of there relatively soon. And hopefully she can start living her life again. Moving on, we did hear some crazy verdicts in the last couple of weeks, starting with, I should have started with this because this is actually the biggest one, the overturning of the Roe versus Wade in the Supreme Court. which is really, really crazy. I wish I had some of my female counterparts in here to speak more to this, because as a male, I probably won't do it justice at all. But you know, from my eyes, it's just a crazy thing seeing a bunch of I have a mom, I have sisters, I have a girlfriend. So seeing their reaction to it, and listening and kind of learning, it is crazy to see that a lot of states in the US are taking the stance and trying to make decisions for women when most of the Senate's, I'm not even gonna say probably, it mostly is a bunch of white males making decisions for women around the country that they should have no business making the decision in. Um, Abortion is, whether you believe in it or not, it still should be a woman's choice to do it or not, and it shouldn't be illegal. People shouldn't get high jail time for it. You know, it's probably, I'm not gonna say probably again. It's just kind of weird speaking from a woman's perspective, not being a woman, but getting an abortion is not like the easiest thing to do in the world anyway. So morally and mentally, it's probably very, very tough, and it weighs on the woman when that happens. You know what I'm saying? It's not like they're just going there willfully and just, ha ha, I'm doing this, da 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 da. And it's just like, okay, I'm just doing it for fun. You know what I'm saying? It's a choice that they're making for reasons that are beyond the pale of male male can't even comprehension. I'm looking for, that's the word I was looking for. So for a bunch of males to say, okay, women can't get an abortion, it's just wild. It's just like, okay, they feel like they know every aspect of why a woman would get an abortion and everything like that. It's like it shouldn't be something that's just said and done. You can just vote really quick on something, and you can just, like Kamala Harris said, enact something that has been almost enacted for a half a century, and then snap of fingers, and people can just vote about it, just to be gone. And it just has a ripple effect that could be kind of crazy, man. They're already kind of limiting Plan B pills, how many you can get. They're trying to say that you only can get a certain amount per month, per year type shit. It's like, it's kind of backwards, because as a male, they will never put that kind of restrictions on males. Like, is there a certain amount of condoms you can buy? You only can buy one condom per week. Like, is that going to be the next step for males? I don't think so. So to put this kind of law in place and these kind of steps towards, it's just too controlling. It's like something like that, especially in the Constitution. And I don't know, man. Like I said, I have to wait for some more female counterparts to get on here, so I can speak more about it and kind of just enlighten. I know Best of Bias listeners, you guys are probably up on game and kind of already know a whole bunch about it. It's just, man, I just don't want to say the wrong thing. And I know it's just kind of an open conversation and you can't really say the wrong thing. It's just the way I feel. I definitely feel like it's a crazy, crazy, crazy concept that overwhelmingly majority of males can vote for something that affects the lives of so many women. I feel like it should be, if that was to be the case, it should be a court of majority women and have them vote on that, because it seems to me like that their opinion didn't even matter for the fact that you can just vote. And there's even political pundits saying that they knew that this was going to happen. I heard about it may happen, and now that it's happening, that they can't believe it's happening. It's crazy to me how the president of the United States, the vice president, can't veto something like that for it not to happen. It's wild. As you get older, you do realize how the government works and how they, even though there's some kind of one party's in power as far as president goes, the courts could still be majority of the other party and stuff still could not get done. It's just like, how does that even help us as a country if we're just fighting each other internally? Nothing's ever going to change. And we have so many problems in our country, gun control and stuff like that. We just got over a pandemic and stuff like that, but we're going back in and then just dissolving these Roe versus Wade these kind of laws that put in place that are helping the country move forward, but we're just setting it back even further instead of fixing problems that were kind of setting us back to begin with, which is hella confusing. And I don't know, man. I can ramble on this point all day, but like I said, when I get more people on here to talk about this with me, and this is not going anywhere anytime soon. So, man, we'll touch back on this very soon. we'll touch back on them very soon. But we do got R. Kelly verdict. We got a Ghislaine Maxwell verdict. Starting with R. Kelly, he was sentenced to 30 years for his role in the drug trafficking ring that he had going on. Everybody's heard about it. Everybody's seen all the documentaries. We all wondered what would actually happen with R. Kelly and what would his sentence actually be. He's been in jail for a while now. I want to say about a couple of years now, maybe 2 or 3. I don't know. Time flies in the media, so it could have been a while now. But he actually got sentenced today, and that's 30 years, man. And I can't say it's not deserved. I do see people in the media saying that, white people, white guys that are people that weren't Black have been accused of rape and got way less years than 30 years. But that shouldn't even matter. It just seems as though a lot of stuff R. Kelly was doing was in our face. It was in his music. It was, blatantly in front of our face, and he just felt like he couldn't be touched. And I feel like a lot of it caught up to him. And I think that's really karma. And I feel like that could be happening a lot around the country because famous people do have this power over people, this influence over people. And sometimes they do take it to their advantage in a negative way. And this was one of those cases. And, maybe that was an example they made out of him to let people know that don't start doing this shit, or we're not going to take it lightly just because you're a celebrity and you do have that influence. We can't put it all on these women, you know what I'm saying? And you did something, you preyed on these young girls, you knew where they're gonna be at, you knew what they were up to, this is what you liked, you made videos, you did all this creepy shit, and you thought just because you're rich and powerful and you wrote some good songs, it wasn't gonna catch up. And man, I can't, a lot of people didn't think it was true. A lot of people thought that in the court of law, they wouldn't be able to prove that you did all these things. A lot of these documentaries, people thought these women were lying, they just wanted fame. But 30 years proves that they weren't lying. They weren't trying to be famous. These parents weren't lying. Their daughters were being brainwashed and preyed upon. And it is what it is, man. R. Kelly is a great singer, and you know what I'm saying? His songs, did make a lot of people happy, and they will continue to make people happy in some people's eyes because, a lot of people aren't going to throw away that catalog. They're going to be playing those music that can separate artists from what he's done. Maybe now that he's been convicted and since 30 years, maybe people are more comfortable playing his music again, knowing that there was some justice. But man, that's wild. Sorry, R. Kelly, man. Choices, man. That's a lesson to everybody out there. As you get rich and famous and you have your vices, choose the right ones. You know what I'm saying? Preying upon younger children, and that shit is for the birds. You have talent, you have fetishes, you have these vices. I get it, but make them healthy, positive ones to extend your career, because no matter how high you get, they can take you down, and they will be looking to take you down, especially if you have some weird ass shit in your closet. Like, hey, that was a pun. Trapped in the Closet was epic, though. I used to watch that shit all the time with my family. But yeah, if you have those skeletons, they will be unveiled sooner or later, and we're seeing it then. Speaking of skeletons in the closet, Ghislaine Maxwell sentenced to 20 years in prison for her involvement in the whole Jeffrey Epstein and the whole island, and another case where they're recruiting young girls and bringing them to an island, Jeffrey Epstein's island, and grooming them for like popular men of power. And it was kind of crazy. We saw what happened with Jeffrey Epstein. He was found dead from suicide, hanging from his sheets, I guess it was. I think it was. And it was kind of weird. It was under weird circumstances because he thought he was going to, give up a bunch of names that he had, people that were on the island, people that he worked for, bringing girls to the island for. Maybe people thought he was going to, drop a list to try to get a lighter sentence, but he ended up committing suicide. So this whole Ghislaine Maxwell thing, after she's been accused, she's been in jail a while, so I don't know, nothing has happened yet. So I don't know if the same kind of thing is going to happen, but I don't know if she's going to actually sit down for that 20 years, but she does know where all the bodies are buried, quote unquote, because, she was a direct partner with Jeffrey Epstein, and people were waiting to see what she was going to get, as far as sentence goes as well. She's already in her 60s, so 20 years will take her pretty far into her, into her living years. So I don't know if she's going to get a lighter sentence if she gives up some names. I don't know if she's going to give up some names, but I don't know if she's actually anything's going to happen to her. I'm hoping not, justice should be served. nobody deserves to die in those situations, but justice should be served in one way or another. But death isn't necessarily the way they need to go. But that is something that's interesting. And I did, if you checked out the Instagram, I posted something on there about this German guy. He's like 105 years old or whatever. And he got found after committing like 3,000 and something murders during the Holocaust. They arrested him and put him in jail for 5 years when he was 105. So he realistically is probably going to spend the rest of his life in jail too. That's kind of wild. The courts are catching up with people, and you can't fight the courts. It's wild. The justice system is weird, but if you're actually partaking in these crimes, man, the justice system is catching these famous people. And speaking of, I did almost skip over that Johnny Depp. He actually, in this court case, when he was fighting a defamation case against Amber Heard, he did mention how he didn't want to go back to Disney or participate in any Pirates movies again, even if they asked him to do it. That was cap, I guess, because Johnny Depp just accepted a deal with Disney to produce a whole bunch of new pirate series, movies, probably TV shows, who knows what kind of stuff they're going to embark in, but it's a $301 million contract. Wild. Go from not going to work with these people again to getting a super mega deal that is going to knock everything out of the water. I'm pretty much happy about that, though, because I'm a big Pirates fan. And when I heard that Johnny didn't want to participate anymore, even after being proven innocent, I was kind of mad. I was like, what is he going to do now, man? What's going to be the next project from Johnny Depp? And for him to go back to Pirates, man, you know what I'm saying? I'm already due for a trip to Disneyland soon, you know what I'm saying? So Best of Bias listeners, if you want to meet me there, you're going to plan a trip to Disneyland, holla at me. I still got to see the Marvel side. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen a lot of the new stuff out there. So I think did they put a Nintendo area in there? I'm not sure. But maybe that's Universal Studios or some shit. But what we got next on the docket here? Let's do a little sports corner, you know what I'm saying? Because a bunch of stuff is happening in free agency. Actually, free agency is tomorrow. Excuse me, it's Wednesday today, like I said. And tomorrow, well, it was, yeah, shit. I'm getting all these days mixed up. So if you hear this today, free agency would have started yesterday and a bunch of shit was going down. But there's been a lot of trades happening, a lot of contracts and player options being picked up. The landscape of the NBA is kind of setting for free agency and before trade deadline and stuff. So we're starting to see what kind of moves teams are getting ready to make. So let's start a little bit with, let's start here with Kyrie. Kyrie Irving opts into his player option with the Nets. He decided to go back. For now, I guess he's opting into that $37 million contract. He still possibly could be traded, but for now he's opting into the contract, going back to KD. We're waiting to see what moves they may make in free agency, but as of now, they're chilling. I think they don't have Bruce Bowen. He's going to be a free agent, but I think he might resign. I'm not too sure. So we will see what's going to happen with that. We have John Wall. He decided not to sign back with the Wizards, and he's actually going to go. Actually, he opted into his contract, and then the Wizards actually bought him out, so he's free to sign wherever he wanted. So John Wall went and signed with the Clippers. So he plans to sign with Clippers when the free agency opens tomorrow. So that's going to be wild. What else happened here? We had Russell Westbrook signing, opting into his contract, of course. I don't know why he wouldn't. $47.1 million go back to the Lakers. Again, we don't know if he's going to be traded. We don't know if the Charlotte Hornets are going to try to trade and get his contract. I'm sorry, these puppies down here heard somebody at the door, so they're active over here trying to be watchdogs, but they need to chill the hell out. We don't know what Russell Westbrook's actually going to do. I know one of the priorities is to bring Malik Monk back because he did do really well last year, doing what he was doing for the Lakers. I don't know who exactly they're going to fill out their bench with, but I know AD is back, LeBron's back, Russell's back. We heard a lot about Kyrie possibly going there. So who knows? They may get a little swapperoo there, 3-team trade with the Hornets, the Lakers, and the Nets, you know what I'm saying, to get Kyrie over to the Lakers. Who knows? I know the Knicks are trading away a whole bunch of pieces in hopes of getting Jalen Brunson over there to add to Quickly, to add to Randall, to RJ Barrett. Brunson, after this last playoff appearance with Dallas, made a big name for himself. So he's looking to get the bag. He's looking for $100 million contract, and they're looking to pay him that kind of contract in New York, about $22 million a year. DeJounte Murray was traded over to the Hawks for Danilo Gallinari and 3 first-round picks. So the Hawks now got Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, John Collins for now. Everybody's saying he's going to be traded. Clint Capella. They have, I think, Kevin Horter and Bojan Bogdanovic. So they have a loaded roster. They're all pretty young still, but the roster is pretty clean over there. The Spurs kind of reloading, and Pop is still there, so he feels like he can make some noise with the young bucks over there. My Nuggets, I can talk about this trade real quick. We traded Monte Morris and Will Barton for Ish Smith and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. I wasn't feeling it too much necessarily because Monte Morris meant a lot to me as a Nuggets fan. Will Barton, I was looking to trade him last year before we re-signed him at the trade deadline. But we did need more defense. So adding KCP to the starting lineup with Jamal Murray, MPJ, Aaron Gordon, and Jokic does add some defense. We have 2 kind of lockdown defenders in Aaron Gordon and KCP, and Jamal can defend a little bit, so they can't really target MPJ as much as they did last year with switches and stuff like that. Jokic could pretty much hold his own down there as well. And then on the bench, we got Bones going to step up and be running the second unit. Bones, and if we sign Austin Rivers back, Davion Reed. We have at the 4, we still have Jeff Green. We have Zeke Naji, and hopefully we get Boogie Cousins back at the 5. So we're still filling out some stuff, and hopefully during free agency, we can make some moves, maybe trade for some players, maybe pick up, I want to say Victor Oladipo. You can add him to the second unit as well, him, Bones, and some people, Jeff Green, Boogie, just to have a full squad, you know what I'm saying? Just to have a full 10, 11 players that can compete in the playoffs and lock down some players, and be rotational. And we got Christian Brown. We just drafted out of Kansas, national champion. You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be a lockdown defender, and he's like 6'6", 6'7" at guard. So, if he can play in the second unit as well, come into his own his rookie year, we can actually do something, and that would be kind of interesting to do. But really quickly here, before these dogs get all crazy, I'm going to go into a quick commercial break, and let me get back, finish out these topics. But it's the Best of Bias podcast. Do not move. It's your boy, Lydell Dinero, and we'll be right back. Yeah.
Mama hit my line if she really wanna fuck with me now, cause I'm on. I tell lil' mama hit my line if she really wanna come fuck with me now, cause I'm on. I hear lil' mama make her feel it in her soul. I hear lil' mama make her feel it in her soul. I give her dick and she won't ever leave me alone. I give her dick and she won't never leave me alone.
All right, we are back. It's the Best of Bias podcast. Quick commercial break, and we back here. I'm sorry about that. I got to shoot these puppies up out of here because they're always trying to ruin a man's shine, man. I'm trying to be great, and they just trying to bring me down. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be up here. They're trying to bring me down here. But back into this podcast, you know what I'm saying? Back with the somber topics, though. Lil TJ, man. I know you guys heard about Lil TJ being shot out there in New Jersey. I heard it was right next to a precinct, like a police precinct too. He was shot 5 to 7 times in the chest and spine area. And he's in the hospital now. This has been in the media a lot lately because people have been really misreporting on it. People are saying that he was paralyzed, he was brain dead, paralyzed from the waist up, and they would never be able to perform again, rap again. And all people are saying this is misinformation. People that haven't seen him, talk to him, know him, are putting this out to try to be the first one to put it out. First and foremost, I want to say praise out to him and his family. This shit is crazy, man. Every other week, there's somebody being shot, especially prominently in the rap industry, in the rap game. It's like the profession isn't safe anymore. People are kind of making assumptions that these big enterprises, these big record companies are putting life insurance policies out on the artists because they're being shot so often that something's likely to happen. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and some people are saying it's a smart investment. I heard this on Joe Budden podcast. They were arguing that maybe it is a smart investment because they know they're giving a bunch of money to these artists that live a certain way. And if something was to happen, they want their money invested. But at the same time, on the other end of the token, it's like, okay, maybe you're investing in us because you think something will happen. Maybe you're setting this up to happen. You know what I'm saying? But it's a double-edged sword. And I don't think either side's shouldn't feel that way, but I just feel like, man, gun violence is at an all-time high right now, whether it's like mass shootings or people getting shot in the hood or just rappers being shot, robbed. It's a lot. And it's interesting to think about, man. How do we stop this? You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like half the rap profession, in order to be dope or to be looked at or to be approached by these record companies, is to be that braggadocious lifestyle that they like and they put the money behind. And once you do that, somebody's always looking to take what you got or make an example out of you by taking what you got because they're not having what you got or in the spot that you're in right now. And usually it's people that are really the closest to these artists that are doing it. And it's just wild because you take the lives of one of these superstars and then they just go and sit in jail. And it's like, okay, now you are sitting in jail, but you just took somebody's life on purpose out of jealousy. And now we just hear about you. You become famous in the media for shooting this famous person. And now you're forever attached to this person, just sitting in jail, untouchable. It's just a wild concept, and it's a never-ending cycle that I'm hoping ends soon. We can get, a turn in our culture, a turn in our, because rap is one of the biggest genres out there right now, and one of the sought after, copied. Every genre has like pretty much a rap feature, and it's one of their biggest songs. They look for the crossover. And we need to be around for that. We want the longevity of these careers to last a long time so we can create this generational wealth and people can see that the genre is not only for show and entertainment, it's actually something that's equitable and that can last a long time. And that's what we've been showing. And I think that's something that needs to continue. So somehow, some way, I'm praying for all this gun violence to stop and for our rappers to be here longer, to make a bigger impact, to be the Nipseys, to be the Jay-Z's, to be the P. Diddy's. Nipsey got cut short, of course, but it's like the entrepreneurial spirit, the entrepreneurial mindset, the make for yourself and build up our community and love yours community type shit needs to be spoken about more, and it needs to be nurtured. And us killing each other and all this shit happening in the hood and everywhere, and not even in the hood, just the gun violence everywhere is just, ending potential greatness that we could see push our genre and our culture forward. You know what I mean? So prayers out to the families involved, prayers out to all the families, all the lives that we lost this year, last year, and forever in hip hop, everywhere in the hood, not just hip hop, just our culture, man. It's just, we pray that it gets better, especially with little TJ, man. He was so young. We're praying that he's able to heal and get back to doing what he loves and got paid to do and rap, man. Leave all the bullshit aside. Speaking some music though, I want to get into this little Chris Brown album review. I liked it a lot, man. Breezy came. Like I said, we were just in Vegas for this bachelor party. It was my theme for the whole weekend, man. Airport to parties, pre-parties, coming back from the airport. The album, 24 songs. I could listen to the whole album without skips, but me personally, I have like 6 or 7 songs that I play nonstop that are just kind of crazy. And that doesn't even count for the singles that I heard before the actual album dropped. So for me, 10 out of 10, one of my favorite albums this year. But Chris Brown usually never disappoints for me. You know what I'm saying? The last album he put out with Young Thug, Slap That, one of my favorite albums of the year. The other albums he put out with the 40 songs, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't listen to all the songs on the albums, but it did numbers. So I'm sure a lot of people liked it. And he's been on tour for days off those albums. But this album, Breezy Here, in particular, the song Bryson Tiller, the song of Bryson Tiller, what is the song called? I'm gonna pull that up for you. I'm not gonna act like I'm not going to, go listen to it so much that I should know by now. So let me see. Let me pull that up here. Taking hell long, I know, yeah, bear with me. Let's see. I like Cab, of course, Till the Wheels Fall Off, of course. Sex Memories, with ESTG, whatever it's called. A Warm Embrace, of course. Bad Than a Bitch, of course. Need You Right Here, of course. Iffy, of course, Slide, of course, Dream, of course, Warm Embrace, of course. So as you can see, there's a bunch of songs on there that I enjoy and that I really do like. And Best of Bias listeners, if you are into Chris Brown, if you're into R&B, go check that out because there's a lot of songs. There's an edited version if you got to bring it home to the parents and want to put it on at a family party. You can do that as well if you have Apple Music or Spotify or any other music platform. You can probably find the clean version because he did put that out as well. A lot of artists don't really put that out, but they're losing a lot of plays that way, streaming wise, because you can play these songs anywhere. People are still gonna feel it if you blank out the curse words. People are still gonna feel it in the car, in the clubs, in these family parties. You know what I'm saying? But music that is coming up that I'm really excited to hear. Brent Faiyaz is dropping next week. If you know me, you know how I feel about Brent Faiyaz, man. I got to keep my R&B on deck as well as my rap. You know what I'm saying? Because R&B, if you give me some good R&B, you know what I'm saying, it can last for a long time in my brain. Because we don't get good R&B every day. So when it does hit, you know what I'm saying, like that Lucky Day album, you know what I'm saying, he had some ones on there, and I mean he's getting credited for it in a lot of these award shows, but. He did perform on Juneteenth on CNN. Like seeing Lucky Day up there, I'm like, he made it a long way. You know what I'm saying? But there is a lot of shit coming out. I'm looking for Burna Boy's album to come out really soon too. Of course, you got Beyonce's album. If you're hearing this on Friday, Cardi B just dropped a song with Kanye West and Lil Durk. Yeah, so a lot of shit dropping. So, the summertime's here. So it's time for a lot of music to drop. While it's hot outside, while everybody's outside before this coronavirus stuff starts to rile up again in the wintertime. So everybody's outside partying, try to get that music on. That song Sticky on Drake's album is starting to pick up steam. I'm hearing around the world. The whole album, I don't know, me personally, again, I reviewed it last week. It didn't really hit as hard as everybody kind of, on their second listen, it hit for them. They're like, oh, they understand now. I see where this is going with the Baltimore club and the New Jersey club music, dance music. But I don't know, man. I still don't see it. Sticky and the last song with 21 Savage on it are the songs that I enjoy from that album. Then I kind of just skip on to the next one. But check out that Breezy album, Chris Brown. If you like my review for me, I know it was really brief, but if I don't have somebody to bounce off of it with, I just you have to take my opinion for it, but go check it out, download it now, listen to it on YouTube. If you don't want to buy it, if you don't have any of the streaming services, go check it out on YouTube. I'm telling you, it won't disappoint. It got a little bit of something. If you like Chris Brown, his whole spectrum is on there, and you will like something out of 24 songs, because it is about an hour and a half of music. So versus Omarion versus Mario. I did get on here and say, I'm gonna have to let you guys know, I did get on here and say Omarion would watch Mario in the verses. Kind of went over a bunch of songs that Omarion would have that would blow Mario out the water. I even went downstairs to my family and was kind of trying to broach that topic as well, and kind of was caping for Omarion. But after watching the verses, I couldn't be more wrong. Oh shit! Omarion was out there acting wild, eating watermelons, sounding horrible. It really let us know that his popularity really came from You Got Served and all the dancing stuff he was doing, because that was studio music for sure, because he got on the mic and couldn't sing for nothing. Though Mario may not have had as many hits as Omarion and B2K did, the songs he did sing, he was able to sing to a point where he was out there performing. He had new music that people haven't heard that were performance-wise way better than any song that Omarion performed. And it was kind of crazy to see, because versus really does come to performance now. It's not about your catalog, it's how you perform that catalog. Because you can get out there and have a super catalog and perform that shit boo-boo, and somebody have a smaller catalog with less hits on it, and just come out there hitting notes on you, and that can sway the crowd. And that whole chat on Instagram, you can sway the whole court of public. I've said that a lot, but the court of public opinion is going to sway it all that way just by performances, man. So Omarion got out there and performed, kind of, but it was kind of like comedy in a sense. But Mario got out there and performed and let everybody know that he's still the man and he still got it when it comes to R&B. The pre-show, they had Ray J and Bobby Valentino versus Pleasure P, and who else was it? It was Pleasure P, and who else was it? Jeremiah? Was it Jeremiah? I wasn't sure. Pleasure P and Sammy. It was Sammy. Pleasure P and Sammy. So I guess Ray J was off that Casa Amigo, so he came up there singing One Wish Hella Crazy. And then based on that, all the other dudes started singing his song for him. I know Sammy did have a bunch of songs. I know back in Trey's songs heyday, Sammy was putting out some songs when I was in college that were kind of remixes of other people's songs, but he was killing that shit, man. He was doing those like Lil Wayne type mixtapes where he would sing other people's songs. He was killing that shit. So Sammy, I knew he was gonna kill it. Pleasure P also had a spell for me in college too. That chocolate coated candy. He had all that shit on that album, that solo album that he put out. Yeah. That shit. He had some hits on that one. Bobby Valentino had some commercial hits as well, but I felt like the team of Sammy and Pleasure P could take on Ray J and Bobby Valentino, but it seemed as though that performance, I didn't really see this part of it. I saw mostly the Mario and Omarion version, a part of it, even though, because this shit was pushed back hella late. I think I was actually recording the day it came on and caught it hella late and it was still on because they took forever just getting Omarion and Mario out there. Mario or Mario? I guess they say Mario in Baltimore. But yeah, Ray J came up there super drunk with his baby in his hands, trying to hit notes, and it wasn't sounding too cool. So everybody was kind of making fun of him. He didn't feel it too much. He was hella mad about it. He got on stage, telling everybody shut up and let him sing his song. It was a wild night. But let's get this shit out of here. But ultimately, it was one for the culture again. There's culture one. Omario's out there giving people some entertainment. Mario showing people he still got it. And Ray J and friends were pure comedy as well. People were also saying the pre-DJ was really good and was able to provide a lengthy, positive warm-up before it took hella long for before it took hella long for Mario and Omarion to come out. But yeah, Versus was epic. There's a bunch of Versus coming up that should be cool. I think they're looking for Lloyd Banks to battle Joel Santana. But I don't know who's next one gonna be. I'm sure we'll talk about it on the pod. Moving right along here. What else do I got? Oh, the BET Awards. Let's talk about this real quick. I didn't really watch it, but most of the highlights I saw, I just wanted to shout out Tim's because, you know, I'm a big Tim's fan. Shout out Nigeria, shout out Africa, putting out a bunch of talent right now. WizKid, Burna Boy, everybody out there for doing their thing. But I'm a super huge Tim's fan. To see her win International Artist of the Year for the BET Awards and Collaboration of the Year for Essence. I was really happy to see her take center stage and people to see who she was and where she was from and what she was about, because her music is crazy. It hits you in a different spot in the soul, you know what I'm saying, in the heart. When I hear it, I get mesmerized every time. So Best of Bias listeners, there's a myriad of songs I could tell you about from Tim's, but just go look up her name on YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, wherever you're at. Download every single one of them songs and you'll love them, I guarantee it. They gave P. Diddy a Lifetime Achievement Award for all his contributions to hip hop and, you know, in the hip hop culture in general. He put out a bunch of artists. He birthed the style. He brought something different to New York hip hop, made people not afraid to dance and get out there and be themselves to music, you know what I mean? And I do respect P. Diddy for what he brought to the game. And, you know, shoot, all these labels and stuff that we see today wouldn't be you know, possible without Bad Boy making the mark he did on hip hop and, you know, giving artists the way to go ahead and be self-made and go ahead and make, you know, this label to make a subsidiary kind of like label under a record label so they can eat too. You know what I'm saying? He's a great role model. We had some speakers that came out and spoke about him. Babyface, Kanye made a surprise appearance. Nobody knew he was going to be out there. He came in, you know, the typical Kanye garb, big ass jacket, boots, all black with a big ass mask where you can't see his face. He couldn't even breathe in his mask. Every word he said, it sounded like he was like, you know what I'm saying, trying to grasp at breath. He was like, ah. After every sentence, he was going off teleprompter. You know what I'm saying? Sorry about that, audio listeners. That sound was probably hella annoying. But and visual listeners, I probably look hella dumb doing that. But yeah, Kanye was there and presenting the award to him upon I'm using all these words I don't even know right now. Upon accepting the award, P. Diddy actually donated $1 million to a couple of HBCUs. He donated $1 million to Howard University, and he also donated $1 million to Jackson State. where Deion Sanders coaches, because he says, saying we should play for us, and try to promote more D1 or, top 5-star, 4-star athletes to go to these HBCUs and give them a try, play for Black coaches and not, be beholden to these big Power 5 schools just because they have all the money and the ability to pay you now with the NIL. Go to Jackson State and you can still get drafted from there, because I'm sure Deion Sanders is going to start putting a bunch of players into the NFL. He got the number 1 recruit of the last year's cycle, who's going to play this year at corner, and he's playing a little bit of receiver too. So, a lot of recruits are going to start going there. We saw Mikey Williams commit to an HBCU. I don't remember exactly which one it was. He was like one of the top prospects in coming out of high school for the NBA. So he's going to a HBCU as well. So it's a good trend to see, man. It's put more money behind them and help them grow and have a bigger reach and grow the league as well. Because I think Ray Lewis is coaching a HBCU as well. So yeah, it's good to see, and it's I hope that grows. At the BET Awards, we also saw Jack Harlow perform with Brandy, because there was that big ordeal about Jack Harlow not knowing that Brandy was Ray J's sister, and not knowing the song that Ray J they played when he was there, the Brandy song that they played. So he came out. Not only did he come out and perform with Brandy, I guess Lil Nas X is protesting the BET Awards as well. Jack Harlow wore a Lil Nas X t-shirt on the red carpet. So Jack Harlow is, doing what he needs to do to fit in with the culture, righting his wrongs as far as not recognizing that Ray J was Brandy's brother, and not knowing about, because Brandy did come out with a diss, some bars on Jack Harlow's Glamorous remix, and I think that's what they performed on the BET Awards. So yeah, all is good in love and war, I guess. I'm just kidding. They're probably friends now. It was just one little thing, a little snafu. I don't think it was that big of a deal anyway. Jack Harlow didn't know who Brandy was. He's kind of young. Brandy was out in the early 90s, later 90s as well, in Moesha and doing movies and stuff, early 2000s. I still know what you did last summer type stuff. If you know, you know what I'm saying. But Jack Harlow did perform there. I heard Silk Sonic won all the awards. I heard Lucky Day won some awards. So yeah, man. Shout out to BET Awards, man. I hope that show tends to grow more and more. I can't wait for the BET Hip Hop Awards. I'm a big fan of that with the ciphers and all that stuff. Those productions are really interesting to me, but it is good to promote our shows, because, hip hop culture, BET, Black culture, R&B, and all that stuff is being, shat on, and all these other award shows that give the Grammys and the Billboard Awards and all those type of awards to the wrong people every year. The people that shouldn't win it, we feel always win it and take it from the person who should win it in that category. And the BET Awards should be for that. I think we should grow, elevate, and keep supporting the BET Awards like we did when we were little. Don't treat it as one of these little shows like the Nickelodeon Awards. Treat it as something that we hold for us, by us, so we, can be recognized by each other. We should stop trying to reach for all these other award shows, recognitions to tell us we're great. The BET Awards should matter. The Hip Hop Awards should matter. All these other award shows, that Source Awards should matter. Essence Awards should matter. All these things should matter for us, and we should hold them in higher regards, just like we do the Grammys, the Oscars, and all the other billboards and all the other bullshit. And lastly here, before we get up out of here, I just rambled through all these topics. So I hope you're still there with me listening to the pod. You know what I'm saying? Because you got this far. We get into the good gushy stuff. I want to talk a little bit about Hocus Pocus 2 making its 29-year return. The Sanderson sisters are back. Betty Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Najimy. They're all back to reprise their roles as the Sanderson sisters. I'm kind of skeptical. I mean, they always do a good job of ruining sequels. And this movie's coming straight to Disney Plus, so it's going to be kind of kiddie. The first one was definitely kiddie in my time, but I was just younger when it came out. So I hope they don't cheese it up and CW it too much. I'm sorry, CW, we always use you as a kind of a negative connotation for a show that's super cheesy and super high school kind of drama type shit. But hopefully we get Zachary Binks back. Hopefully it's super nostalgic. We need a new Halloween movie because they play Hocus Pocus 1 nonstop during the Halloween season. So maybe this this Hocus Pocus 2 could be just as good, and we get that same kind of effect that we can play this as well. So we can get 2 movies to play over and over on Halloween. You know what I'm saying? More movie news. I wanted to just kind of talk about how I felt so far about, actually, I just watched Umbrella Academy. I just finished that up. And The Boys, where I'm at so far with that. Umbrella Academy season 3. Spoiler alert, if you guys haven't seen it or watched it yet, it all got dropped at one time on Netflix. So it's been out for about a week and a half now. If you haven't watched it yet, turn off the podcast. You made it far enough. Thank you for listening. But if you want to stay and enjoy these reviews real quick, I want to talk about how I feel about it. The Boys is not over yet, of course. We're still on like episode 5 or 6. So I can talk about that first, I guess. Fuck Homelander. Fuck Homelander. Fuck Soulja Boy 2. And fuck Blue Hawk. And maybe A-Train. All those guys. But yeah, it's a good show. I'm enjoying it. If you're where I'm at, if you're caught up on the show, you know Billy the Butcher and Huey are taking the temporary Compound V, and they kind of got superpowers. This season's more so about trying to find a weapon to kill Homelander, because Homelander in this season is kind of taking his power into his own hands. We saw Vought kind of being in control of the superheroes, the 5 or whatever, and keeping them in track. But now Homelander is kind of like taking his power back, kind of denouncing Vought, and kind of saying that Vought is being ran by the wrong people. He should be in control because he's in power. He's powerful. He's the most powerful being in the world. And if he wanted to snap and kill everybody, he basically can. So why shouldn't he be in control? But throughout the season, we get to see that Homelander is not ready to be in control of Vought, because with being a superhero, there is a lot that comes with cleaning up the bullshit that superheroes do, collateral damage and shit like that. And Homelander's not ready for all that. So we see him do a whole bunch of fucked up shit. We see behind the scenes that he's trying to make a move on Starlight. He beats up Maeve. It's just a whole bunch of shit Homelander is doing that crosses the line in this season. We hope somehow he gets his just due. We introduced this new character called named Soulja Boy, not the Soulja Boy from Crank That Hoe, but it's Soulja Boy is his name. He's kind of like a Captain America figure. But he's an asshole, and he's the Homelander before Homelander. Homelander even said growing up he idolized Soulja Boy and watched all his TV shows that were based upon him. But yeah, basically Soulja Boy was an asshole. We see back in the past some of the shit that he did. And throughout the season, we're seeing and we're looking for this weapon to kill Homelander, and they say that it's in Russia. We get to Russia and we find out that the weapon is actually a cryogenically frozen Soulja Boy who everybody thought was dead. And in Russia, they did a whole bunch of experiments on him to where he inherited a new power to where he could shoot big ass blasts at his chest, which just kind of incinerates everybody and kills people, which is kind of weird. So, of course, Butcher and Huey take that upon themselves to team up with Soulja Boy to have him fight Homelander, because they feel like Soulja Boy is the best weapon they have to beat Homelander. And we do get to eventually see that fight. I won't spoil how that fight went for you guys. I won't go that far, but that's kind of the gist of what's going on in this one. We do see A-Train kind of trying to find himself again. We see a rebranding of A-Train. He wants to be accepted by Homelander and Vought so much that he kind of bends at their whim, and he kind of like puts him being black and black culture and black people in his back pocket, and kind of like feels like, I don't know, like a lot of people do. I don't know how to really explain it. He feels like, okay, black people are being treated just the same as everybody else when it comes to superhero treatment. But in reality, the superheroes are out there over patrolling black neighborhoods, mistreating black offenders, people that commit crime. They're, beating them up and kind of like killing them. In the show, it's kind of crazy how it juxtaposes everything that's kind of going on in American society today, but kind of makes fun of it. So it's a crazy aspect that it shows. But yeah, A-Train is going through some stuff. His brother has to remind him that he is Black, and the Black community doesn't look at him as a hero because he doesn't help the Black community at all. He kind of just, again, bends at the whim of Homelander and a Vought, and this guy named Black Hawk has been over patrolling and beating pretty much Black people to a pulp and putting them in the hospital. And there's a kind of back and forth between them. And again, I won't spoil what happens between them, but there's a moment where A-Train kind of like has to look himself in the mirror, and there's like a lot of self-reflecting going on there. Again, Huey, he started dating Starlight in the last season, and there's always been a thing with them. As he takes the Compound V and becomes a superhero, and gets some powers along with Butcher, he kind of realizes that he likes being a superhero. He just wanted to be able to protect Starlight and not have to be protected all the time. When he first got with Starlight, he told her that he wasn't insecure about her being a superhero and being weaker than him, and her being stronger than him, and him not being able to protect her necessarily. And if Homelander ever wanted to do anything to him, he could, because he was weak and useless. Especially a lot of the stuff that he's gone through, A-Train running through his first girlfriend, like literally running through her with super speed. And then Homelander now trying to publicly take Starlight from him. He felt useless, hopeless, so he took Compound V. So that kind of put a rift in the boys, because the boys fight Supes. They don't become Supes. Supes are the thing that they hate the most and they're trying to kill. So for Butcher to become a superhero and Huey to become a superhero, that really hurt Mother's Milk. Frenchie and Kimiko are going through it. If you know, you know. If you don't know, if you haven't seen the show at all, I'm probably talking gibberish right now. But if you know, season 3 is going up. And we are right in the middle. We're right in the middle. So I'm gonna end it right there. Just watch the show if you have it. If you like gory superhero stuff, that's not the typical superhero stuff. Puts a spin on it. And it's rated mature stuff, so don't watch it with your kids. It's some shit that is an adaptation on some crazy comic books that are not for kids. So that's The Boys for you on Amazon Prime. Go watch that now every Friday. But I do want to talk about Umbrella Academy season 3. Umbrella Academy is something I really do like. It actually came out around the same time as The Boys, so they get compared a lot as far as superhero shows goes, because I gotta have my nerd cap on at all times. This season was pretty dope, man. It was a continuation of this family called the Umbrella Academy. If you saw last season, at the end, they ended up, saving the world and being able to teleport back to where they thought was their time. But they ended up in this house where there's a whole nother family that looks like them, but they're called the Sparrow Academy. And they were led by their dead brother, number 3, or Ben. But he was actually alive, and nobody knew what the hell was going on. And then their dad comes out and was like, oh shit, this is not your family. This is not your house. Who are you? This is the Sparrow Academy, not the Umbrella Academy type shit. And we did see in the last season, the dad was revealed as being an alien on some weird shit. So going into season 3, we thought everything was back to normal, but it wasn't at all. We get a whole new set of kids with a whole new set of powers, all very, very weird powers. And we're wondering why they're there, why there's this other family. And basically they're homeless because in this universe, they don't exist. And they want to know why they don't exist in this universe. It comes to show that their parents were killed and they were never born. So there's a lot of shit going down in that, and they all decide to go to this hotel called Hotel Obsidian. Klaus suggests this. Klaus is one of the brothers who, throughout the season, we found out can talk to the dead and possess the dead to use their powers, and that was his powers. But he knows about this Hotel Obsidian where he goes and says that nobody ever recognizes you, nobody pays attention to what you're doing or nothing like that. It's just a hotel where you can just be free and just hide out from everybody or everything and just, just kind of do what you want. But yeah, throughout the season, they're kind of kicking it here, but little do they know that they not only are in another situation, it's the most dire situation they've ever been in. It's just crazy, man. I won't spoil it too much. I want you guys to actually watch it before I talk too much about it. Maybe I can get somebody on here to review it with me, because there's a lot of fine points and a lot of details that I do want to talk about. about the show, especially kind of like comparing it to season 1 and 2 and where this kind of ranks. So maybe AKA, maybe somebody that can watch it and talk about it with me. But if not, I know you guys are gonna go and watch it now because I talked about it. And it's another very gory show. My thing is, I like shows that have a whole bunch of different storylines, a bunch of different people that you can see. They have a bunch of different powers, and there's a good plot. There's a really good plot in The Boys, and they continue to elevate on the plot. And there's going to be another season, I'm sure, because it's a good show, and how they end is kind of a cliffhanger. You know what I'm saying? If you saw the end of the season finale, ended on a really big cliffhanger. They don't really explain too much of why and what happened. We just see that they think again. I'm not gonna even say that because then I'm gonna spoil it. But you guys go check it out. And if I don't have somebody to review it with, and within, next episode or the one after that, I'll get in here and just spill the beans and add that into another pop culture, segment, so I can just reflect with y'all if y'all haven't watched it yet or we haven't talked about it. How about that, y'all? How about that? What else do I got? Oh shit, this one's probably the closest to my heart. Paramount's Great America, or is it called California's Great America now? Whatever it's called now, is closing in 2033. I know that's kind of far away. It was kind of more dramatic when I saw it on Twitter when it said Great America's been purchased, has been acquired, and plans on closing down. I'm like, God damn, I grew up there. I pretty much worked there for a couple of years. I went there all the time. I went there by myself, after work, because we had season passes. When you work there, if you were off work, you can come there and just go to the park for free. So I would go there and work behind the scenes in the food area. And then when I didn't work during the summer, I'd just go there and go to the park by myself and meet people and play the games and all that kind of shit, just to do it, man. It was a place that I grew up, went with a lot of my friends, went on dates there. And as a really big place in my heart, you know what I'm saying? The Demon, and Vertigo, Top Gun, the bumper cars, man. What's the Log Run? Is that what it's called? The inner tube where you spin it around, you get super soaked. Boomerang Bay, the big projector theaters where I used to watch SpongeBob, and they had the NASCAR. Days of Thunder was there where you sat in the chairs and they moved. It's like a whole bunch of stuff that I'm gonna miss about Great America, man. It was a really big park. I know people in the East Bay, they know about they have their Six Flags and stuff like that, and their Marine Worlds and Disneyland's, California Adventures in LA. But us over here in NorCal, well, more South Bay than anything, South Bay area, Great America was it, man. They had the basketball where you can win basketballs, man. You had, you can drive the cars. Man, there's so much you can do as a kid, and just have a blast. And it's just a place now where people still take their kids, but I'm talking like it's gonna be gone anytime soon. 11 years is still a long time for you to enjoy it. So make sure you get out there. They may be raising prices. You got to try to get all the money they can before they go out of business, but it is worth it, man. 4th of July is coming up. Like I said, go take your family there, enjoy the rides before they're gone, because Great America is a place where, everything used to be there. It used to be like, even by Great America, they have the Hoop It Up tournaments behind there in the parking lots. They had festivals out there. I guess they're trying to make it some kind of like a downtown Disney kind of area, kind of like a more kind of grown up kind of area where you can shop and probably drink and enjoy the town, because they do have to expand because Levi Stadium is in that area. The 49ers do play over there. So it kind of should be turned into something that people around there can go to and call a hangout area, because it is kind of weird to say that the San Francisco 49ers play in Santa Clara and there's nothing to do locally really in Santa Clara to kind of enjoy. So maybe that's their plan, but for it to be done in 13 years, a lot more that could be happening within that 13 years that can make, that can give the 49ers some attraction. So I don't necessarily know if that's the case in general, but 13 years, just Great America, we're going to miss you. A lot of good times had there. Shit, whatever you put there better be worth it, because you're knocking down a whole bunch of stuff out there in NorCal specifically South Bay. Maybe if you need, I don't know. I don't even know if we need another mall out there in Santa Clara, man. Because a lot of the malls are San Jose-ish area. And I mean, yeah, and it's going to be really close to the Great Mall too. So I don't know. But I guess this is where I'm running out of topics. So I guess this is where I like to let them know where you can find me at. This is your boy Lydell Dinero. So where do you find me? I'm gonna let you guys tell me. No, I got it. SAC_Lydell on Instagram, Patrick_Lydell on the Snapchat. You know what I'm saying? If you love these episodes like I know you do, check us out on the podcast on YouTube, Best of Bias. Like, subscribe, tell your friends about it, man. It's a lot going on that page. A lot of videos. Hasn't been a video for last week's episode yet. We're gonna get that put up along with this week's episodes. AKA is just working hard out there in Indiana, and we're waiting for those videos, but they'll get here sooner or later. We ain't gonna hold them too much. I know you guys can just get the podcast and listen to it. You know what I'm saying? Wherever you find your podcast. We're on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, all that stuff, man. Wherever you want to find your podcast. We got merch. See that merch up there? We got dad hats. We got trucker hats. You always see me wearing truckers. We got bucket hats. We got the beanies. I know it's not wintertime yet, but the beanies are coming. Hoodies, t-shirts are coming. T-shirts I'm trying to get out before the end of summer. But these hoodies will be coming when the wintertime hits, winter and fall. So this merch ain't gonna stop, you know what I'm saying? But keep enjoying the podcast, keep downloading, keep telling your friends, keep subscribing, keep liking, because you know what I'm saying? Doing this makes me happy. Bringing all this information to you guys and make sure you guys get all the information. The world is changing. The world is changing fast. And I want you guys to be up on game. Some of this information you may not want. It may not be necessary. But, hey, maybe it comes up in a conversation and you didn't know nothing about it, but you heard about it on the podcast and you can add to the conversation, make some new friends. Man, I'm glad I can do that for you. You know what I'm saying? The best of bias is your bias, too. It's not only mine. You know what I'm saying? The bias you need to be great, I'm going to bring that to you as well. And I'm sharing the wealth. And we all going to be the best. This is the bias that I'm bringing to you because we all going to be the best. Yeah, just take that in. You know what I'm saying? They tell me I changed. I tell them I'm a million. That's straight. But I just wanted to say that because I ain't posted it on Instagram yet. But anyways, man, anything else I gotta say? Nah. If you guys want to send me some Funko Pops, you guys can do that too. DM me if you want to be on the pod. I got some new guests that want to be on the pod. Jen's gonna be back. She said she wanted to be on the next pod. Deshaun is supposed to be here a while ago, but he is busy. But we are gonna get him on. John is recovering right now. We got him coming up. We got plenty of guests. You guys know I got guests galore, but there'll be more guests, I promise. It won't be just me rambling on and on and on. But as for now, where's my theme song at? Right here, you guessed it. All right, then, y'all. Love you.
It's the best of bias. You need the earful. You should try us. From pop culture to the movies to Unitas. It's the best of bias. Your best of bias. Yeah. It's the best of bias.
You are now listening to the Best of Bias Podcast.